Cheers. How's the sound? Cheers, lemonade. So have I got a treat for you guys tonight? Good morning. We got a real deep dive coming in here. Hello, footprints from the library. We've got an interesting night, I think. I'm gonna just wing it, but I found some interesting stuff. And you know me, when I find it, I gotta share it. Oh. Look at these beautiful rockets. All right. Okay, just relax. Relax. We're not going to be showing goods, but we will be listening to some goods, possibly. So let's see what we got here. Okay. All right, so let's find it here, guys. Let's see. Okay, we'll go into the now. Let me see here. I found some stuff. Oh yeah, it's crazy out there, buddy. It really is. You see the snow out there today? See the snow out there? So let's see if I can find this. I'll go to my favorites here. Okay, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay, just a sec, guys. Sorry. I'm usually... Oh yeah, and of course I gotta... There we go, my favorites. There we go. Alright, and I just... There we go. Boom.
Glad to be here this evening. I asked the pastor, do you think anybody's going to come out for 2 continuous services like that? He said, you just get here, the people will be here. I'm glad to see you. I'll begin the winter, I was going to preach to 5 people. But we're going to go over a few things this evening. And how many people here have never heard the word Illuminati before?
How's it sound?
Oh boy, I have a problem here. Rather than go over the history of what it is and how it came into being, I'm going to concentrate on what it's doing today. Now, many of you accept too many things that are just because they're there, and you don't question why are they there. So many things in America we've accepted as normal because we're used to them, and we've grown to accept them, and it's just exactly what the Illuminati wants you to do. Now, I promised the teenagers the other day that I wasn't going to let their parents off any easier than I let them off.
Yeah,
so
this is a good one, guys.
But quickly to tell some of the people some things. The Illuminati is an organization that the Luciferian religion or religion of the occult or witchcraft or paganism or the force or whatever you want to call it is its religion, and its priests are those of witchcraft.
1978.
But it is a political financial organization. And real quickly, rather than have you take out a $1 bill or any of that, you can do that later. I'll draw you this and try to explain the Illuminati through this, and then we'll go on with the teaching. I'm not used to one of these things. I'm used to a blackboard, so we'll try the best. Now, I only write the stories at Chick Publications. Now I've learned. Okay. We'll just roll it over. We go from this direction. Which direction? This way? Oh, okay. I was wondering why everybody was laughing. I knew I wasn't that bad of an artist. I'm terrible, but not that bad. We do it right here.
Good morning.
How about that?
Good morning, Avalon. Avon Leamoon. Avon Leamoon.
This is the Illuminati.
Sorry.
I'll describe it before I describe myself. The I in there means Lucifer, and the capstone is a Rothschild. If you notice, it's suspended from the pyramid because the Rothschilds are considered deities, supernatural beings dwelling in human bodies, gods to be worshipped, not human beings. And so they are the Godhead, and their priest is the Council of 13 of the Grand Druid Council, which I was a member of. So the things I'm saying from here, up where I know what took place. The next council is the Council of 33. That is the 33 highest and nichest masons in the world. And the next is the Council of 500. That is what many people refer to as the Bilderbergers. That's the people you make rich every time you go shopping.
Yep.
Now, where I come from is the Todds were originally called the Collinses, the particular branch of the family that I'm from, and they have been in the Illuminati since May 1st, 1776, when it was organized. In fact, they were one of the organizing families. They're also the originators of witchcraft within the United States. They brought it here in 1626. So this is where I came from. I was raised a witch, and all my life I thought I was into witchcraft.
Grizzly.
In 1970, when I shot and killed an officer in Germany after re-enlisted, and the Illuminati stepped in with the aid of a senator that later became Attorney General and a congressman, and about 3 generals from the Pentagon, ordering my immediate honorable discharge and the destructions of my military records and court-martial records, which was done. And then I learned that witchcraft was more than just casting spells, that there were political and financial people involved in this thing. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. Rather than being a lot of people like Gary Allen, who starts back in 1776, I'm going to start at an interesting time. I'm going to start December 19 1963. The reason I'm starting there is that is the time, in fact, the 21st of December 1963, that it was decided that the Christian church, the fundamental Christian church, was a threat to the Illuminati within the United States. And at that time, they thought they could take care of it by infiltration, by bribing, by blackmail, and by scandal. Now, as of a year ago, they decided that that's useless, and that the only answer to the Christian church is to burn it to the ground. And we'll be talking about quite a few things like that today. But this is what I came off of. And at that time, the reason, I'm going to say a few things. If they're contrary to things you've heard before, traditional, just pray for me. I'm sure they're going to be. The reason that the Christian church became a threat to the Illuminati is that a particular president existed that time, and that president, through the man that helped set up the Bay of Pigs invasion, became a Christian. It was one to the Lord. That's John Kennedy.
Kennedy.
And because of this, they thought they could threaten and force him back in. They tried for 3 months. In fact, 30 days before his death, the Pope ordered him to Rome to appear before him and accept communion at his hand. And Kennedy walked out of the Vatican refusing communion. And that's when they decided that he had to go. So he ordered his death. So if you're wondering they're ever going to solve the Kennedy assassination, don't you believe it? Now, when I joined the Illuminati, knowing, I guess I was a member of the Illuminati since I was 14, but I did not know it was the Illuminati. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to ask some questions, and the reason I'm going fast is I have to leave here and go preach a service. So I'm going to try to go through some of these things and wise you up to some of the things the Illuminati has been doing to the Christian churches. All I'm going to concentrate on is what they've been doing to the Christian church. And then I'm going to let you ask a lot of questions and try and go back over the pieces I've skipped over by accident. Now, when they decided to do this, they knew that demons were very real. There's nobody that's ever come out of the occult that would say that the devil's not as active as he was during the time of Jesus, and therefore neither is his army. And they're extremely real today. I would like to say more than ever, but I'm sure they were just as real in Jesus' time. And they know that there are weak Christians as well as there are strong Christians. There's two types of Christians, and they're familiar with this. In fact, I learned this in witchcraft, not in the Christian church. There are Christians who have accepted Jesus as Savior, and there are Christians who have accepted Him as Lord, and there is a difference. In fact, I was telling the pastor's wife I love the Gaither Trio because I've learned more about the Lordship of Christ listening to their music and their testimonies than probably anybody else. And they have a beautiful illustration on one of their live albums of where the woman's 2-year-old boy was down at a picnic, and the grandmother and him was playing ball with a plastic ball and bat. And he got mad and threw the bat down and started stamping on the ground and says, "Grandma, you missed my bat again. You missed my bat again." And that's just about us when we get in trouble, or when we don't think the Lord did it our way. We say, "Lord, you missed my bat again." That's because we're trying to run it and tell the Lord what to do. Now that's being Savior. When He's Lord, we say, "Lord, what am I supposed to do for you today? How do you want it run?" And there's a difference. And they know the difference in the occult world. And they try to keep everybody at the Savior station. They figure they've lost them anyway, but they'd like to make their testimony so weak and so void that they're not a threat to them. And they use several things to do it. Their number one instrument in destroying a Christian's strength is music.
Did you hear that?
I'm sure a lot of you parents had
Music.
testimonies from your kids going home about how great a speaker I am and so on rock music.
And many of them
that's because my
who are
favorite
driven to
thing
these
is to learn
crimes
rock music. I just get such a
by a
pleasure
horrible
out of doing that
force
garbage.
called music.
And there's a reason that I get that pleasure. I used to lead
Frank
Zodiac
Zappa.
Productions, the largest rock booking concert agency in the United States. They've decided they ought to change their name. They do this quite often. The Illuminati change their name around. But at that time, they're the main reason that the Beatles and the Stones and Crosby, Still, Nash and Young and
Are you listening?
Clearwater Revival and other groups that belong to the occult had concerts in this country.
Are you hearing this,
They
guys?
now have such influence, and since the Illuminati has bought most of their record companies anyway,
How's it going,
you
Jonathan?
cannot produce
Cover,
records in this country as a new
thank
group
you
getting started
for popping in.
Yes, unless you are a member of some occult brotherhood and have an initiation scar on your wrist. Now, I was shocked that one of the young people here knew a particular story that happened about 6 months ago. Kiss was having a press conference over a new album they were releasing,
Kiss?
and this press conference was being held in Hollywood.
I saw Kiss
Over at one of the record companies.
at 9 years old.
And somebody said, well, Kiss, that's a strange name. What's it all about? And the guy stood up and says, well, I guess we ought to tell you all about ourselves. We didn't get together and form our own group. We were told to form this group by our ministers, by our church. And they said, oh, we didn't know you were Christians. Oh, I like the way the guy thinks. They said, oh, we're not. We're Satanists. And they all pulled out their ministers' cards and showed they were priests of the Satanic Brotherhood of America. And they said, oh, and they kind of skipped over. They were trying to get away from it. They didn't realize they weren't going to.
Thank you, my friend.
And one of the guys stood up and says, oh, well, you know, all the teeny boppers really like you. And they say, well, we're not too interested in the girls. We all like the guys.
They've all sold out, Starling.
Except one. That destroyed some of the girls the other day.
Just a sec here.
And then they went on to say, by the way, our name means Kings in Satanic Service.
Kings in Satanic Service. Yeah, so this is the John Todd tapes. These are from 1978, and this is well before Jay-Z and fucking the Triangle and Illuminati and all this stuff that's all prevalent in the mainstream. And like I said, even Frank Zappa wrote about this in Joe's Garage, you know, how they will enforce crimes that haven't been committed yet, and many of these crimes were driven to people by music. He says in Joe's Garage and in the Central Scrutinizer. But John Todd gave a series of these lectures years ago. This is one of the first tapes I was exposed to. You used to be able to find this stuff on YouTube all the time. It was really open. Not all of the information I would say is completely 100% accurate, but I don't know. But a lot of it has been parroted from other people. So I've heard the same information from other artists and other managers, actresses, so on and so forth, throughout the years. And they've also talked about the same names and the same people about their family ties. So it's pretty relevant stuff here, guys. And that's why I'm introducing it to you. Who is Milk? Oh, he's a white black guy that pretends to be white, that thinks he's black, that's a boy, that's a girl.
Now that's just one group. A lot of them are out there. Most of these groups pick their names for their band according to which language.
It's called gematria.
How many beers do we have here?
Which language? Kabbalic.
Come on, you can confess that. The Lord will forgive you. Okay. Now, I have a CB in my car.
Oh yeah.
I try not to use it unless I have to.
So every star, every influencer that is at a certain level has either taken the Faustian bargain, which is, you know, you got to give something up for your money, fame, and power. And like it says in the Bible, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities. And so they're talking, we wrestle against spirits. So these offers come to you in real time from a real person. But your power of manifestation and other powers of manifestation are a lot more real than what we're led to believe. So when you're at a stage where people are watching you and they want to use you for their agenda, first of all, you have to have a certain amount of talent, or you have to be useful to them. What will happen is your record or your song or your art will blow up to a certain point. After that point, it's up to you. And then you have to either you decide to take on a certain management company or a certain manager, whatever, and then they will suggest you go to parties or suggest you go to certain award shows, whatever, after parties. That's where you're going to get approached to go to dinner, or if you're in a band, they're going to come to you and say, it's all you. We want to make you the star, not the band. They'll divide first, and then they'll present you with the offer. And usually the offer is to compromise yourself. So whether through money, sexually, or the ultimate sacrifice, which is the death of a loved one. But that's how it happens. It's very real. And take it for what it is. But I'm just telling you guys, there's a reason why every single star that you know of, that I know of, is doing the same hand signals. They're doing, they say the same language, they speak, they use the same gematria coding in their songs and in their album covers. It's all taught to them by somebody.
But I have learned one thing, that supposedly CBers talk in what is called English. I'm not so sure some of the time, but you know what I mean. They have words smoky and tin floor and everything else on down the road and so on. Okay, they have a set of code words. Unless you know what they're talking in, it's a lot like what the teenagers talk in today. Unless you know what they're talking in, you can't understand the conversation. Well, the witches have had a language for several thousand years old that they communicate in. And it's English, I think. And it consists of many words. It means many, phrases and so on. They call, actually, what they call it is witches' roots. R-U-D-E. Yeah, roots. And most of the rock music is written in witch language. Okay? And many of the groups pick their names by phrases out of the Witchcraft Bible, the Book of Shadows. And the Beatles, now, they're one of the most potent charms within witchcraft is the scarab, which is a beetle.
Which is a beetle.
And that's why.
Yeah. Also, with music frequencies, and I've done this on my channel, where I played a frequency and I could only hear it up to a certain point because of my age, but younger people can hear it past that certain point. So think about that for a minute. If you're a record executive and you want to push an agenda or sell something, well, what better way to hide it in a song where the parents can't hear it, but the child can? And that's very real. I've literally done it on this channel.
They chose it. Most people who are great Beatle fans, and this goes back to some of the oldsters here, do not realize what the occult calls the Beatles. They call them the four prophets.
It doesn't really matter, because it really is the whole lot of them, You don't really need to know specifics when it comes to these people, because their actions out them.
The four angels from Lucifer. And they believe,
and it's probably better for her not to say it,
that for the first time in witchcraft history, a record album and the words of that record album have been adopted as part of the Witchcraft Bible, the Book of Shadows. And that was the double white album that the Beatles song. They consider every song on there to be a prophecy from Lucifer of the end times. Okay? Just to give you a little clue. Now, don't rush out and buy one, but you can rush home and burn the one you got. Now, know a lot of the rock singers firsthand because of booking and because many of them were in occult brotherhoods that I used to go and minister at and so on when I was over. Three Dog Night all came out of one coven in Tempe, Arizona. And I know Santana, they were brought up from down in South America, and his brother started another group, and I know many of the groups. In fact, my closest friend in the world is David Crosby.
David Crosby.
Young. And I saw him. In fact, I'd like you to pray for him.
So there's a reason why Melissa Etheridge wanted David Crosby's sperm. I don't know if you remember that, but most people my age do. There was a big thing in the Inquirer and so forth that they wanted David Crosby's sperm, and nobody could figure out why. Oh, why would these two lesbians want David Crosby's love child? Well, because he's a Van Duren or whatever it is. He's part of these elite bloodlines, and that's why they wanted his child.
Because I do really feel for him. I saw him about 3 days before Christmas last year, and the man is almost dead. He's on $200 a day with cocaine. And I talked with him. I said, I've been out of this a long time, Dave. I'd like to know, do they still require at the record companies that when a song is ready to be pressed, in other words, the records are pressed and sent out.
Yeah, well, that's good for her. She's good to get out of that bullshit. That's all I gotta say.
Have a room set aside about this size for a witchcraft coven to come in and do rights at for the company. I said, is it still required for the coven to come in and perform?
California's a shithole. Should have never went there.
They said, oh yes. Now the reason for rock music is not to make money. The Illuminati doesn't need money. They got probably 99.9% of the money in the world. They don't need money. What they want with rock music is the same reason that they created the jewelry I'll be talking about in a moment. And that is to weaken your Christian life.
This guy takes everything from a Christian point. Just take it for what it is, whether you're into it or not.
Follow every rock record that comes off of that master copy. Now, if you don't think it's done, too bad. I want you to stop and ask yourself, what strong Christian, what soul-winning Christian do you know that plays rock music? I've made a statement many times in my meetings. You show me a strong Christian, and don't come up and tell me you're a strong Christian, got the rock music, because I'll set you down and we'll go over your life. I've never met one. There isn't any. Only weak Christians listen to rock music. By the way, only weak Christians listen to Jesus rock music also. Now, I know a little story about Jesus rock.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's why he was just at his level. He probably had integrity.
On a function at one of the Grand Druid meetings. In fact, it was an extremely important meeting that was taking place that was discussing the destruction of Jerry Falwell's church. Oh, yeah.
Exactly, Starling.
One time or the other. And when we were there, I was given a check that was made out on the Lords of London Bank in London. That's where it originated. It was actually made out on the Chase Manhattan Bank here, but it was funds from that bank. It was stamped on it. And it was to be delivered to a Reverend Chuck Smith, Costa Mesa, California. Now, old Chucky, he had started out with a thing called the Jesus People. That's really where it got started with him. And the occult got very upset. The Illuminati was extremely upset because ministers were standing up and preaching against rock music, and the kids were burning their music. Now, they just couldn't stand the idea that these demons weren't in Christians' homes and affecting Christians' lives. And they couldn't understand. It was puzzling me how the Christians found out about this.
How the Christians found out about this?
They had it hidden. We couldn't understand why Christian ministers were preaching against rock since they didn't know the real reason. But something inside ministers across the country was saying this is wrong. So how do you get these demons, these same demons, into people's hands if they're not going to play the rock? You make a Christian.
You make a Christian.
In the Illuminati, you can't beat them.
That's how you do it.
So this $4 million check was the second $4 million this man had received in a 2-year period. And with it, he built
Michael Kirsten.
And Maranatha production started what we call today Jesus Rock. Now, watch out. I'm going to give you a little warning. The Illuminati just bought the biggest Christian record and music company in the United States and probably in the world about a year ago. And already we're seeing a change in the music. They bought Word Ministries in Texas. RCA bought them up. And RCA belongs to the Illuminati. And they've already brought out a company called Myrrh. Okay? And Myrrh's emblem is the ruins of Stonehenge. That's one of the strongest witchcraft sites. That would be for a witch to go to Stonehenge would be like a Christian to go to Bethlehem. It's that holy of a place in the occult.
Oh, was he? I'm sorry about that.
And one particular witch we can't stand that a lot of Christians have in their homes. We enjoy burning her records as much as we enjoy burning the Beatles, and that's Honey Tree. And she sings for them. Now we know many of these people because they started out in rock music, and they were ordered over into the Christian rock. So if I can get you Christian rock music, that's almost as fun as getting your rock music. Now the other thing that I want to say before we get back to politics a second is this. 5 years ago, I could stand in a meeting and say, this is how you tell a witch, by their jewelry, and these are the symbols. I can't do that today because the Christians are wearing the same jewelry. Now, most people don't know the significance of an inanimate object when its creation was ordered by the devil. Now, I don't think anybody here doubts that the Word of God was ordered by the Holy Spirit through man. Well, certain writings and certain pieces of jewelry were ordered by the devil through occult people. And these pieces of jewelry mean things you don't know. Now, about 3 years ago, the occult changed all the names for these pieces of jewelry. What they've been called for thousands of years, they changed the names and called them something else. Some of the names don't even make sense.
Yeah, they changed the language.
Through several major companies that they own. Federal department stores, which meant that they sold them through Sears and Penny. Then they sold and got Kmart and Gold Circle and so on. Then they sold them through Standard Oil store, Montgomery Ward. And then they wanted to get them into everybody's homes that maybe didn't buy them in the store, so they sold them through Avon. And Avon's catalog this year is unreal. It's got more jewelry in it from the occult than I've ever seen anywhere else. By the way, if you buy from Avon, we have a cassette tape, we don't have it with us, of a woman that's with Word of Life Ministries, that one of their biggest executives in Maryland. And she had to be delivered from demons because of the jewelry she was selling, and her testimony is outstanding of how she tried to kill herself just because the jewelry was in her house and the demonic activity that it created. So you might consider it twice. Now these are the symbols. I know I'm drawing them upside down again, but you'll get the message, I think. Yeah, we're drawing them over there. Let me go over here. I'm not a good artist, but it'll give you some 5-pointed star called a pentagram, or a pinnacle. The 6-pointed star was originally called the hexagram or the crest of Solomon. It's always been used for demon worship. Just recently has anybody called it the Star of David. In fact, I'll tell you a little story about this. Two close, one isn't a close friend, but the girl she lives with in marriage is. And there's this television star, we're going to be talking about television in a minute, that a lot of you Christians probably think is a good, clean Christian show. Or I can't say Christian show, a good, clean show that maybe you could slip by and your preacher won't skin you for it. And
thank you.
This woman is a homosexual that stars in the show. That's Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley. And she lives with a rock star named Carole King. Carol's an old friend of mine. And Cindy thought it was not fair that homosexuals weren't allowed to be ministers in witchcraft, that they could only be church members. So they started their own brotherhood, and they adopted the hexagram inside the circle. This means demonic possession in the occult. Boy, she hit it right on the button. That's probably the two worst things, homosexuals and witches. The next one, and you'll see how many television stars is the moon and the five-pointed star. It means you are an ordained priest or priestess of witchcraft. And I've seen many television stars lately wearing this on TV. That's because you're not supposed to know what it means. Now, last one, as I said, I'm not a good artist, is the Ankh. They're now calling it the Cross of Life. They like to change the names of things. Now, this is what it means. Don't come up and tell me it means a Christian symbol. I came out of the occult. They created that thing. I know what it means. It's not a Christian cross. In fact, it came from Egypt thousands of years before Christ ever walked the earth in a form of human body. It means that you despise virginity, that you practice orgies, that you worship the sun god Ra, which is the Egyptian name for Lucifer, and that you believe in reincarnation, which means you don't believe in hell and you don't believe in heaven. So if you don't believe any of these things, don't wear it. Now there's another one. I'm not too good of an artist. I can't draw these, come to think of it. And it's called now the Italian horn. I don't know why they call it that, since it was invented in Ireland. But it's been called, its real name is the leprechaun staff, the fairy's wand, and the unicorn's horn. And it comes two ways. Sometimes it's a twisted horn, like this.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And sometimes it's a curved horn. It means, literally, you trust the devil for your finances. Now, if you don't wear it. I'm so tired of seeing Christian ladies wearing this around their neck. I don't even talk to them. I tell them to take it off before I talk to them. I came out of that thing. Now, they got these in your hands for a reason. And the reason is this. These things attract demons. Believe me, they really do, especially the six-pointed star. And if, in fact, we never conjured a demon that we didn't draw this on the floor for the demon to appear in the six-pointed one. In fact, the word to cast a bad spell, to hex somebody, comes from this star. That gives you kind of an idea of its evil. So, I'm not against jewelry, or I would preach against all jewelry. I'm just against jewelry that the devil told people to create for his worship service and for his priesthood. And it doesn't have any place in a Christian's life. Now, give you a little political thing. So before everybody rushes out of here tonight to send telegrams off to Washington, D.C., I got saved out of the Illuminati. You can save the money of sending your telegrams. If they want to vote something through, they're going to vote it through, and you're never going to know about it. I'll give you a little tip of when the Illuminati is up to something in the United States. When you turn on your television set and you hear the senators are arguing over a certain bill in Washington, you've got to say, what are they really passing that we're not seeing while we're seeing this? Now, the whole reason for the Panama Canal, and they plan on having the world before the Panama Canal ever falls into Panama, so they're not doing anything anyway, is a smoke screen. In the time everybody's been concerned over the Panama Canal, 5 bills have been before Congress, and 2 of them have passed that you never heard about. And one, I believe, passed last week, or the week before, so I guess it's been 3. The one that just passed is called House Bill 41. Beautiful little thing. It states in House Bill 41 that if your church is not a member of a denomination of the World Council of Churches, or the National Council of Churches, that you could lose your tax status. You must go through an investigation and a court hearing. Unless, this little side thing, unless you have a membership of 500 of joining members to your church, so I think you're safe here, but a lot of churches aren't. Next, anybody that gives to a Christian organization separate from a member of a denomination of the National Council of Churches, there exists in this whole bill, the name of the people who give to them that claim tax deductions, name, address, phone number, and work address is to be printed in every post office in the United States.
Couldn't get rid of them.
For everybody to look at. Now, you may not think that's important, but I came out of a radical organization dying to find out who's spending money in the enemy camp. and would love to pay you a very unfriendly visit when something comes flying through your window some night. That goes boom, you know? So this bill is very important, and it just got passed. Of course, you never heard about it. It's the bills you don't hear about that you have to worry about. There's one up for vote now that just came out of committee. It was voted down 8 years ago, and therefore some of you may know about it. But the president that we have now considered it a necessary bill, so he's been pushing it. It's called the Genocide Act. Anybody ever heard of the Genocide Act? Few of you?
I wonder.
Do you know that if you win somebody, even if they're over 21, and you win them from the faith that their parents bore them into, like Catholic, Jews, witchcraft, maybe a Methodist becomes born again, something like this, they can have you arrested and tried for genocide. And you can serve time in federal penitentiary for it if this law is passed. And it's going to get passed. Now, we read over the other church,
but he's part of them, I think.
Senator Cohen,
Controlled opposition.
who is a senator who sits on the Committee of International Banking for the United States and the Federal Reserve Commission and so on.
But he does give you...
In April 19...
my opinion of Alex Jones is he does introduce you to these topics, but I think he won't take it he won't talk about the Jesuits ever. And then the thing on Sandy Hook, he came back and just backpedaled the whole thing about the Sandy Hook shooting. Thank you. And the whole thing about Sandy Hook, that whole town is a Freemasonic town. That whole shooting, like the whole thing was shenanigans completely. It was a complete act, and he backpedaled on it. He knew there was way more to the story. And when that thing happened, I remember, because YouTube again was quite open, and I could they showed pictures of operatives running through the bush. They had a helicopter shot of guys in black running through the bush. And when you, I'm Canadian, so I don't know a whole lot about firearms, but from what I have learned, these shots are impossible shots that most of these guys have taken. For instance, in the Las Vegas one, the amount of bullets that guy got off as an apparent lone gunman is just, it's impossible. Same with the amount of weapons that this little kid had. These are $1,000 weapons and $1,000 body armor that they say that he had. All these tactical weapons. Where did he get the money for it? For one. I mean, it's just, these narratives are absolutely ridiculous when you break them down and actually look at specific things. And then you just look at you look at the people and the characters involved. When, in the Sandy Hook, there's a picture of one of these guys with his little girl. The picture is completely doctored. Her legs are not where they should be. It's an absolutely fake picture. And but this stuff all gets scrubbed off the internet eventually, or called misinformation or whatever it is. But it all comes out when it's not so much anymore, but when these things happened, you literally could go on YouTube 10 minutes later and there'd be somebody would make a video about anomalies that just don't fit. And then there'd be thousands of videos. And I remember spending hours just combing through. After whatever shooting happened, I would be on YouTube for the next 2 days just searching out stuff, and nothing ever made sense. None of them did. None of them. Okay? And I'm even going far back to talk about Manson, guys. I just found a book. Well, I haven't found the book, but I just found the title of the book. It's called Chaos, and it talks about how the whole Manson story was just that. A story. Another story. Story time, guys. on your local news.
1976. It said that at that moment, the Federal Reserve Act was ready to number everybody in the United States for the purpose of buying.
But you know something? I think, hey, you know, if more people had them, I think if law-abiding citizens were allowed to have guns, criminals wouldn't be so criminal. And then there's a whole bunch of other factors to it, right? Like, how many times did I, you know, steal or do criminal activity to get drugs? Well, now drugs are free. So now you don't need to do criminal activity to get them. If there's some way you can make subsidies for drugs, well, then you'd knock out the whole law enforcement industry, wouldn't you? Now, what would all the lawyers and judges do? They want their power. It's not even about the job for them.
Selling and was going to by 1980. Now, how many heard or have heard on the news the proposed United States security card? Anybody here?
You hear this?
Lift your hands up.
This is back in 78.
Couple. Okay. Now, we've got to look at this. And we thought it most interesting that our president bragged that he drew the card and designed it himself and everything on it. Considering that it's kind of an ivory pearl collar with a gray diagram with black typing over it. And that this gray diagram consists of this. Can you see it?
No.
Somebody tell me what it is.
I'll tell you if I find out.
666.
Yeah,
They call it the inverted 9.
Oh yeah, the digital ID.
Exactly what's on it.
But on
The
the
World Common, excuse me, I got to give you credit, yes.
Yeah.
National or European Common Market countries, you will find this on much of the clothing. Some years back when the current...
This is the barcodes of the commerce and grocery stores and all that. Those barcodes, they all equal 666. It's another one of the marks that.
Currency was printed in 1973 in Brussels, and we bought $10 billion of it, and we have letters to confirm it by senators that we did do this. This world currency, this was on it. But then the president we have today said that his security card makes it so that nobody ever has to carry money anymore, and that will stop robberies.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you don't think it's close, have you been noticing all the department stores placing computer cash registers in there lately? They're all hooked into a computer system. We'll go ahead and turn this thing off. Pastor, how do I turn it off? Make it hot over here. There is a computer system that many people have heard about in Brussels. Some of them have even heard there's a sister computer in Dallas. I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself. In Amsterdam. Thank you. In Amsterdam, that they call the beast. They're talking computers. Actually, the computer is larger than this sanctuary here. Just the computer, not the building. There is one just like it in Dallas, Texas, 4 stories below the IBM building. It's called the National Security Computer. And as of the 1st of last year, the California National Guard switched their patch over to these 3 overlapping 6s. We have confirmed it. We haven't in Georgia yet because we haven't had a chance to talk to anybody that's in the National Guard. And in Florida and Massachusetts,
okay, yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. I'm sure they're everywhere.
All the National Guard is to switch their patch over to that 666. And they all have been hooked as the first of this year into the computer in Dallas. Now this is the computer center that all of the cash registers and all of the stores that are switching the computer cash registers are hooked into.
But I tend to think, okay, I'll give you my take on aliens. I think they're aliens, but I think they're on-world aliens. I don't think they're in space. I don't think there is space. I think it's water above us. I think we're in an enclosed system, personally. This is what I think. But I think it's multidimensional, and I think it's also so it's spiritual, right? So I think the spiritual is the technology, and that's magic. Hey brother, what's going on, Big B? And that's tend to how I kind of see it. So that's how I see the alien thing. It's more, they're definitely real, but I think there's a lot under the water that we we don't know about. How do you have gas pressure without a container? Yeah. So you're talking about space then, right? B? Like I think we're in a contained system here. But I think the space is, like it says, the waters above the waters, right? And the flood. Oh yeah, thanks. I think, and the flood thing, man, that's happened. Like it's in all these books that I'm reading. They talk about deluges, all like and I've showed you guys some of these books, especially in some of these old ones I'm translating. They're all talking about deluges and floods and all this stuff. Yeah, how do you have a back? Yeah, exactly, buddy, exactly. It doesn't make sense. And then with all the spinning planets, okay, you're spinning this way, and then you're spinning around the sun, and you're spinning around this. I've seen a fucking computer model of how we're supposed to be spinning. It's absolutely ridiculous, because then the Polaris star is right there. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a flat plane system, exactly. It's, it's not a flat fucking, but like there's tunnels, and it's like a crater system, I think. You know how they show it. That's the most logical. Like we're in a big scooped out. This was a jail show. Yeah, it used to be, buddy. Well, I've done time, and that's where I got to think about all these conspiracies. I hope you don't mind it. I'm trying to make it a little more of an intelligent conversation and intelligent topics. But yeah, we're all incarcerated somehow. Cheers, man. That's cool. Thanks, Jonathan, for popping in. I appreciate it. So let's continue here, guys. This is John Todd we're listening to of his 1978 Illuminati. Fucking let's go.
And they in turn are hooked into Brussels and Amsterdam. Now that's a fact. That's not guesswork.
Yeah, true.
Another fact is that all the stores within the next year and a half are to switch to some type of computer verification system. Even if it's just the thing that hooks into your phone for those 2 extra buttons on your phone that you can zip the card through, and it gives a reading over the phone. That's because our president has said, and if you're wondering why, I guess I don't like peanut pickers. I don't know. Excuse me, I know he's a fellow Georgian. I mean, if you
Carter was a peanut farmer, right?
He has said that we need proof that everybody in the United States is a law-abiding citizen. I'm getting tired of hearing that term. He's wore it out a little. And that in order to check up on that, what better place than when somebody goes in to buy the groceries or the gasoline to check up on it. So everybody's to have a computer card. And of course, if you don't take the card, you can't buy anything, and you're a bad citizen. Somewhere along the line, I think they thought you were going to get hunted down if you were a Christian.
Yeah.
Believe me, the organized Christian church isn't going to say anything about it. Now, there's 2 doctors.
Yes, you can.
Both of them are free trib.
Yes, you can.
One, you'll be here to see the mark. And some of you won't be here to see the mark pass.
Yeah, you can. You can get methadone prescribed if you want. You can get let's see. No. But that's allegedly. You can get them. allegedly, that you can get the prescription. Right? Well, those are dilaudid, which is basically synthetic heroin.
Out. Whether you believe it or not, the mark is still coming. I'm just verifying it, so whichever way you want to believe. But the point is, they plan on passing this thing out in about 1.5 years. They really do. They have everything being hooked up for it now. So the times are growing close, and this was all was planned out. Now I'm going to give you a reading list before I go to questions and answers, because I'm running short on time.
I'm kind of crazy here, Jonathan, just so you know.
And the first book on the list is...
But I like to give out this Illuminati information, and, you know, we have fun while we do it.
one of their books. Now, I tell Christians not to buy any occult books because of the demons that come with it.
That's true.
This book is one of those.
Careful what you read, guys.
And I want to give you a warning. You may not want to buy it after I say all about the book before I give its title.
Not anymore, buddy.
Some years back, 12 years ago.
Yeah, they're the eights. I can't do that anymore.
Find out we don't have any oil, and all the coal mines are on strike.
I just don't. And I'm on the whole, to be quite honest, man, I'm on the whole kicking fucking thing, so I'm really trying to do them less and less. And not for, that's why I'm so fucking depressed lately, because I'm not all whacked out on fucking opiates and fucking loving life. You can get punched in the head fucking high as fuck on heroin and it'll feel good. So, yeah, buddy, so I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, those will help me sleep. I'll probably do a couple more around noon. They give you a few a day, and I'm trying to do less than what he gives me, and I'm also not taking the methadone, allegedly. So, anything that's prescribed, I, blah, 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 just whatever. And yeah, so, do that. But what's interesting is, those things, which actually do help me, and they're easier, it's not the stigma, whatever, they're easier just to pop down. Oh, I still get it. It's just whether, I just don't want to exactly say, you know, just as far as, because, you know, in real time, right? But, yeah, I still get it, and, but whether, you know, it's not as good for you, put it that way. My doctor will up me my dose on methadone as much as I want. I literally go in there and tell him to up it as a joke, and he does it. But these, he won't give me any more of them, and he's gonna take me off them, like, probably next time I go see him. But he'll fucking flood me with the methadone, which is what I don't want. It's worse for me. It's worse for my bones. I literally spent the last 5 years on fentanyl to get off of methadone. You know what I mean? And he knows that. He knows I don't want methadone. Like, so I'm not a big fan of, you know, the way the doctors do things. Just put it that way. I've come to my own conclusions, and we'll just leave it at that. You know? But that's what happened to it, Grizzly. You know, I mean, I can only say so much on here, really. You gotta read between the lines, guys, you know? Come on. Okay, we'll continue. We're almost done here, guys, with the John Todd. So this is the first tape, so we'll call it tape A, and yeah.
Written 12 years ago.
I know, dude, I know.
People are starving to death. Interesting. Anyway.
You know what's scary is fucking not knowing whether you're gonna find somebody alive or not. That's the scariest thing about this shit.
This book was written at the order of Philip Rothschild, and he chose one of his mistresses to write it, who was already an author of many communist books and books in the world. And she was
I know.
very well known as a novel writer. And so
it
she
came
wrote
with
this code book in the form of a novel, 1,100 pages
a disclaimer.
Now, the only problem with it is, since it was written a novel, it's like a lot of garbage that women read today from the book clubs and so on. You have some passages in that you ought to burn along with Larry Flint's magazine.
Hey, buddy.
But you could skip over them. I don't recommend it for anything.
No, it's all the different colors.
Conspiracy. But it does give, after you get past the first 200 pages, they write the book very interesting. They write the book like you looking at the conspiracy and not knowing about it, and things happen in the newspaper and television, and you go, oh, well, that's just the times. And then they get into three people planning the whole thing. They plan derailment of trains.
You hear this?
In fact, I would say...
Hey, Krusty, what's up, buddy?
Derailment of trains and the coal strike and the lack of fuel.
Oral.
And then it goes into other things. But the book is called...
Krusty, my buddy. Cheers.
Shrug your shoulders. And I found it in almost every bookstore that I've been in Atlanta. So you shouldn't have any problem finding it. Now for the good ones. There's one called N.W.O.
Yeah, well,
Now, before I give you Gary Allen's books, I want to tell you
they color it for branding, right? So I got the purple. I got the green with the stripes. I got the fucking, the polka dot. You know what I mean? That's how you're washing dishes, eh, buddy? Crazy. I'm playing Illuminati. Oh, it's crazy strong, man. It's crazy strong. And that was part of the trick, right? I mean, you guys know about the whole pill mill fiasco back in the 90s. Yeah, I know it's pure. Yeah. Trust me, I know that. The whole fiasco in the 90s, what happened was when the West went into Afghanistan, the Taliban had killed all the poppy fields. The states had gotten the poppy fields up and running again. But during that time, they had gotten all the construction workers and everyone basically wired to opiates through the Oxycontin and the pill mills. Then the DEA came in. The DEA shut down all the doctors and pill mills. So there was a big void for opiates, which all these people were prescribed legal opiates. And since they couldn't get their legal opiates, all of a sudden, well, hey, America was in Afghanistan and they just got the poppy fields going. And what do you know? They got planes coming back from Afghanistan full of fucking heroin. That's how it works, guys. The left hand helps the right hand. Oh no, that's that's one thing. I used to fall asleep with cigarettes all the time and burn my chest.
He's a member of the John Birch Society, and he kind of looks at the Illuminati one-sided, but it does give you some historical facts. N.W.O. conspiracy, the Rockefeller files. There's one more that he didn't write, but his name is on it, because the man who wrote it wasn't well known. And he came out of the Illuminati, and he wanted to release the facts of a very strong, important person to the Rothschilds. And he wrote the book, and Gary Allen had it printed with his name on it.
I'm not
2
sure.
years later, the real author of the book was killed. It's called Jimmy Carter.
Ooh.
There's more to your peanut picker than meets the eye than Billy Beer and Ruth Carter Stapleton.
Billy Beer, remember that, guys?
Now,
Jimmy's brother had his own beer.
There's a good Christian book called The Day the Dollar Dies, and it's strange. I've been to probably 10 Christian bookstores in this city.
Okay, buddy. Cheers. Sorry about that. I wish I could help you out. I can't right now.
Except the owners of the bookstores have told them not to carry it. It's the only book they're not supposed to carry. So you might go in and say, I want it. And maybe they'll get it for you. It's called The Day the Dollar Dies. Now, I'm going to open for anything better than you can. Don't give me any personal incidences about spells and demons and stuff in your life. Maybe a personal incident.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if your path has crossed the Illuminati in some way, talk about that if you want to give a personal experience. But otherwise, let's stay to questions on things that have been said tonight and that are either confusing you or something you think somebody else ought to know or so on. So we'll just go with that. I'm sure the teenagers that were here the other night are at chapel. I had to cut them off because of time. Maybe they want to start it out tonight with a few. Okay, right here. Those symbols, just the ones I've given. There's one other one I didn't draw in there, and that's the scarab, the beetle. Okay? Yes.
How do you spell that?
Just a minute, I'll spell it for you. Well, the reason that I'm not saying the Illuminati, to even say the Illuminati in the occult, even for the Council of 13, meant that they're going to take you out.
Good, buddy, good.
It's an unspeakable word. In fact, the leader of the Council of 13 and his enforcer, Isaac Bonowitz, both members of it.
Good for you.
Bonowitz came to me and said, we know the Christians.
Me too. I'm almost right over it. Like I said, I'm just taking a couple of these, and they'll be done soon.
When actually they're right about most Christians in that form. But would you please stop using the word Illuminati before we have to kill you? Okay? They say Mariah. That's what they say, the conquering wind. Illuminati is the following. Illuminati. It means the light bearers. It's Latin for the light bearers. Okay? In the back.
Cool, buddy.
I don't know him. I know of him yet.
All right, guys. That was the first one. Oh, okay, so we'll go on with tape B maybe tomorrow night if you're interested. Okay, let's see. Let's see if there's anything else I can just throw up here quick. Let me get rid of this guy here. Boom. So, what story on this? Sorry guys, I'm talking to myself here. I think we've seen this one. Let's go down. Okay. Let's see here, that's too small. So let me get rid of this. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Thanks. Thanks very much. I appreciate that. There we go. So this is between 1523, 1605, and discovery and exploration. 19 prints, inventions, and discoveries. So let's just take a little boo. I think we've seen some of this, guys, but it's interesting. That's about it, buddy. That's how I try to make it, you know, expand your mind. Open your mind, let you see. That's what we're about over here. Discovering the secrets. Oh, interesting. See what they're doing in here. Making cannons? Yeah, they're making weapons here. So that's what they're doing. I feel like I'm on acid trip. That's such a trip. So look at this. This is the, like, that's the thing about these pictures too. You really got to look at them. Like, you look in the background and you see the symbolism everywhere. I can't decipher it all, but I can do my best. Look at that. There's some tools or sprockets or something. Gears up there. This looks like some kind of machine. And yeah, and there's a gear there. And, you know, there's tools and... It's fascinating, these pictures, they really are. No, that was Cass's dad. I didn't play any big bands that made it close, but not. I had an audition or two for 6 Degrees of Separation type of thing, but nothing too major. I knew guys that had some, let's see, I knew the guys from Noise Therapy, Bruce Allen. So I played with the bass. So the singer from Noise Therapy, I used to play with his brother. That's okay. I used to play with his brother, and his brother was in Mushroom Trail, which was a pretty good West Coast band. They almost made it. Actually, I could play a song by them too, probably. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see here, guys. Okay, I'll go here, and I don't know if it's on here or not, but we'll try it. Just a second, guys, sorry. Not the fastest typer. There we go, let's see. There we go. Played with him, the bass player. Apple of it all, sweet apple of it all. We live inside, yeah. And the beauty of it all. Oh yeah, great song. We looked down on a peaceful river. Trees and they spawn. That's a great song. These guys should have went way further. Oh, it's amazing, buddy. Should have made it way further. Absolute hit. Listen to this. There you go, the Mushroom Trail. Fucking great band. Yeah, they used to play at what was it called? The Sandy Cliff? Anyways, there was a little pub in West Van, and they used to play there quite a bit. It was them. There was another band called Upper Levels, who I used to play with the guitar player from him. I used to play with the bass player from this band. And then there's another band called The Binge, and I used to play with the guitar player from him, but I didn't play in this band. Oh, it's a great song. And you know something? Better hear it again. In still water, we live inside a car. Yeah. In the beauty of it all, we can't make laws. In the peace of Pine Valley, eating sweet apple of it all. We look down on a peaceful river. Fish swim the stream and they spawn. We hook them up in a line. No, not at all. Yeah, I was more a grunge head myself, but I did like a lot of the punk. Yeah. But yeah, the Mushroom Trail is one of my favorite local bands ever. Of all time. Great bunch of guys. Anyways, guys, I think it's about 3 in the morning here, and I got to get up and shovel my dad's driveway at 8 o'clock, so we'll just let the song play out, and we'll call it a night. Thank you very much for popping in. Like I said, I always have a good time when I'm streaming. And thanks for the new sub. Thanks, Jonathan, Teal, Grizzly, Footprints, Avaloo Noon, and Lemonade, Big B, and all y'all. Did I miss anyone? Krusty, thanks. That's right. Can't miss Krusty. And Sterling, thank you very much. You're always in here first, Sterling. I forgot about that. I apologize. And again, Jonathan, thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Night, guys.